All right, first things first, you want to do your flats. Step one is do your flats, and flats are doing the flat colors for each part. So here I'm starting with doing the skin. Yeah, the way that I start is always doing blocks of color for like each part of your drawing. For this, I'm just drawing a person just to kind of show you the way that I do it. But in general, like my art tip said, it is typically what most artists do is to start from dark and work their way up to light because it's easier to have like a base to get everything done. But yeah, the way that I do it is like you're seeing here. I'm doing it the long way because not all my lines are connected. Otherwise, I'd use the magic, wand tool to select everything. But the way that I do things digitally is I do big blocks of color in each area. In this case, I'm doing it in black and white. So I'm blocking out my shades of my lights and darks, just so I have everything where it needs to be in general shapes. And then after that, I block out the shades and tints and highlights. So the way I mean that is you can see on the lips, I have two tones, the main base part and then the darker part. This is where you start to block out like the big shapes of, your shading or your highlights or whatever. It's not meant to be super defined yet. It's just so you are laying the foundation of where things are going to go because you're going to keep building on top of it in layers, right? You don't want to do everything all at once, all on one layer. So you do a big amount of your flats, then you go on top, and as you can see, I'm adding little definition by adding blocks of darker or lighter colors. This way it helps you to already get the shape of where you're going with your drawing or your painting to get it the way that you want it. And then leading up to this, after you get everything like for color-wise in general areas, you can start adding very basic details like detail work. So as you can see here, I'm starting to add now like the stripes on his suit. And so this way I can see that already the drawing or the digital painting is coming into place. As you can see, I'm going back and doing more blocked out shading after I did the details. And then I'm adding my highlights. Some steps you repeat, but it's easier to get everything done in sections rather than being like, oh, I'm going to draw every last detail and then I'm going to add every last shading and then I'm going to add every last blending and I'm going to do every detail. Like that will take you forever. It's easier to do big pieces of everything at a time and then go back at the end and just keep adding layers of little things that you need, like details near the end. So yeah. You can also use things like different brushes that you think work best for you. I tend to like using things that might have little grit, little texture, but when I'm doing big general area, I use like a soft round brush and like this, and then I go in and I blend it out and I just keep going in and blending out, going in and blending out till I get the general shading the way I want it because skin is very soft. This depends on whether you're doing something like a portrait like I am, or if you're doing something like a drawing for a digital painting for landscape, that's different. You don't really need lines. I always start out with it because I'm an illustrator, but if you want to have something without lines, you could do that as well. You just have to do a lot more rendering and do a lot more practice with being able to make sure that it stands out by itself without looking really odd, like not fully formed but surreal. Sometimes that happens. But you can also use textures, different brushes, whatever works for you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just follow those steps over and over and you should be fine. And here is the finished piece. I did it in black and white just to make it a bit easier for you to understand. If you have any questions, you can comment them down below and I will answer them.